University of California, San Diego, the world's #3 researcher in the type of leukemia I had. He's like, Dean, I am an expert in this. And if I hadn't diagnosed you a year ago, he said, in 30 years, I've never seen chronic lymphocytic leukemia go away. And in the medical journals, it says it never does. Somehow mine did. And, so many times, one of the most frequent questions I get, Scott, is, hey, Dean, you were still an active cancer patient. How did you swim 187 miles in 40-degree water? Took you 22 days. And I tell everybody, after what I'd been through the 3 years previous, it never occurred to me. I just was always staying in that day. I wasn't thinking about the hundreds of miles I had to do. I was just thinking we had every day as a stage. We'd look at that, and then we'd break it down into hour increments. And then I would just start swimming and look forward to my break at the end of the hour. So we broke it down and stayed, like I was talking about, in that moment. But then also, I was just thinking, man, I'm in Oregon. I'm with my folks. I'm with some friends. I'm in this beautiful river. I'm strong enough to be here. I'm not in the hospital. I'm not at a funeral. So life is good. And I think if I hadn't been through my cancer journey and been so sick and felt what it felt like to have no energy and be powerless, that it would have been really hard to do this extreme marathon. But it really wasn't, comparatively speaking.
Yeah, what's interesting is there's a couple of cool things that I think you hear about when it comes to treating yourself or thinking about your own body when it comes to something as bad as cancer. You were out in nature, number one. So you were breathing and living and a part of the water. You were in cold water, which cold therapy we know helps to reduce inflammation. You spent 22 days at 40 to 50 degree temperatures consistently, uncomfortable, but also healing the body. Mentally,
Yeah.
you were focused on
And
a
I
goal.
didn't know that.
Right. And mentally, you were focused on a goal that
Right.
were shortened and broken down into parts where you could actually feel accomplished at the end of every day. There was no
Right.
benefit in looking back. There was no benefit in looking too far forward.
Right.
And then you practice gratitude every single day. That's the recipe you just went through. And if you look at that, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, he also did not take any chemo, I believe, correct? There was no chemo, no radiation. You finished this 22 days later and you were in radical remission. The same doctor who was a friend of yours, who knew your body, who had looked at you months earlier like you were going to die and like he had no solution. You went back to him and he said, if I didn't diagnose the cancer myself, I wouldn't even have known it existed.
Yeah, he said that. And then also University of California, San Diego, the world's #3 researcher in the type of leukemia I had, said that. He's like, Dean, I know you've got this friend, but I am an expert in this. And if I hadn't diagnosed you a year ago, he said, in 30 years, I've never seen chronic lymphocytic leukemia go away. And in the medical journals, it says it never does. Somehow mine did.
Well, I think it's funny. I was diagnosed with colitis and it eventually became Crohn's. It was autoimmune. My gastro doctor and I are friends, and I've been in remission for a number of years. And it's something that is internal. And what he always says, you're a miracle. And I laugh. I'm like, I'm not a miracle. I just took responsibility for my own issues that were causing the inflammation and the problems. There's external causes, things that I can't control. The way I'm wired, for example, it's in my genetic breakdown from the Sicilian roots to both grandparents. Like it was something that everybody dealt with, but not everybody figured out how to turn it up or down as they needed to. And again, as I turn it over, to faith in something bigger than myself, that's the first thing. I can't control it. But the second thing was, I start every day slow. I get in the sauna. I do a cold plunge every day. These are things literally every day that I'm home and active by my stuff. I work out, I take walks. These are things that I wasn't prioritizing prior. So grief taught you how to take the resilience your father and mother had taught you and actually apply it to something much bigger, which was
Right.
really how to live your life the appropriate way and not get too tilted in one direction. If you like clips like this, I have a similar clip here. And if you want to watch the full video, click here.